Hi, everybody. Wow. Um, I was a little, concerned because it was early and now it's right on time, a little early. So, hi, hi, Arlene. Thank you so much for being my mods. Hi, Clint and Deb. Yep, yay. We had a discussion. Hi, Candy. And we had a discussion earlier today in the chat room. And again, I can't encourage you not enough to enter these chat rooms because they're so much fun. Hi, Ruth. I know you can't stay, but look, Susan, I didn't screw up. So here I am. So it's all good. So thank you for kind of looking after me in the bleachers. Hi, Lena. How are you? I'm enjoying the stuff that you have been posting. And I'm working on that perspective thing. And so I think it's fascinating to watch somebody else doing the perspective drawings and stuff. I signed up for classes and one perspective, two perspective. Man, it's crazy. Hi, Joy. How are you? And yet, as you know, we've been doing dolls, and dolls have been on my mind for, about a month since Meri announced that we were doing dolls. And I'm not a doll person, but as you can see, I have made several attempts. Hi, Sherry. How are you? And Sharon, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And Kathleen, thank you so much. And Cheryl, you folks are awesome for hanging in here with all of these streams. I kind of woke up with one eye open, and I did watch Janet and kind of dozed through some of the others. And then in the afternoon, a couple of us just hung out in the chat room, and we had a lot of fun. We discussed all sorts of things. Got to run. Thank you so much. Bye, Susan. And I have made several attempts at some lame dolls, and Meri is being as encouraging as she is. She said, you got to show them. So I will put aside. This was my attempt at making a doll, and I bought, don't ask me why, I bought 18 dish towels from, of course, Amazon. And they, they're the hotel like dish towels, and they have the stripes. And I decided that I would use this as my prototype. And I found a very simple pattern, which I managed to kind of screw up. And then I bought a 16-ounce bag of polyfill stuffing. And Meri has the same bag of stuffing. It's a gigantic bag of stuffing. I went out on my porch, and there's this gigantic box. And of course, I forgot what I had ordered, and it was this polyfill stuffing. And in the back, they actually have a pattern. But anyway, I found this pattern, and I attempted to make it. And I used my sewing machine, and I really tested my little $59 sewing machine. I gave her a run for the money, and I made this doll, and it ended up with a square head. And I was thinking of making a Frankenstein type of doll. And then in the chat, we discussed about eyes, and Debbie said, well, we can sew buttons on, but do the X's. And I finally figured out how to do that. Hey, Beth, you did an incredible job. I don't think I have ever seen so many dolls in my entire life. Every shape, size, color, nationality. You absolutely rocked it. Woo! And the doll is just a fun beginning. Yes. So this is Frankie. Not Frankenstein, but Frankie, and he's got the green stripe. But this was my attempt. boop, 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 and making a stuffed doll. So, hi, Violet. You got to try, right? I've never made a doll before, and this was my first attempt. So this kind of was an okay attempt. So then I started looking at, the internet, YouTube. It's just a beautiful thing. All you have to type in is paper dolls. Oh my gosh, paper dolls. And so I looked at some paper doll type of things. And so that's kind of, the cats on Janice says, I should have put a little catnip in him. You're right. Oh my gosh, that would have been a good thing. And I do have catnip. I could put a little slit. But anyway, this is Frankie, and I'm going to toss Frankie, and maybe the cats will go after. I don't think so. Oh, there goes Frankie. Now, doll-wise, I didn't play with dolls, but my best friend and I, this is going to sound weird, this is what we played with. And we called them teddies. And we made like a house for them. We made little cars for them. And when I would go to stay over at her, spend the night at her house, I would have my clothing in a plastic bag, and I would have a suitcase. And in that suitcase was Teddy's house. And we would open up the suitcases, and we would set up the whole blueprint of Teddy's house. And oh, Roy, I'm sorry. Did you have a fish on those sticks? Just kidding, Roy. But this is what we played with. And this is actually a stiffle. This is a very famous German teddy bear. And this is the smallest one. And if you go to FOA Schwartz in New York City, this is the tiniest one. But the biggest one is, I'm showing you over here, about 3 feet high. And in stone. Yes. And they're supposed to have a little metal thing. And of course, when we were playing with them, we pried that out. And then we had the next size up, and that was Teddy's big brother. But this is what I played with. And this was, I guess, our doll. And I guess my most recent doll was given to me by one of my beloved students, probably one of my most famous people in the world. This is my Ruth doll. So, I mean, I know it's a doll, but it is a doll because, look, she's articulated. So I love her and what she did for all of us. But that's my Ruth doll. But I'm sure you're not interested in my Teddy and my Ruth doll. So what have I been up to? Woo! So I've been following several people, and this one woman made a mixed media altered book doll. Yes, action figure. Yes, action figure. And it's an altered book with all sorts of paper dolls in it. And she was inspired by Laurie Marie Jenkins, who is another one of the people that I'm inspired by. So I thought I would start out with a Laurie Marie Jenkins doll-like thing. And this is going to be the book. And I'm not good at doing books. Why would you? And so I'm starting to alter a book, and this is going to be the opening page, which I actually made. And I have trouble doing this, folks. I really do. But anyway, this is going to end up being an awesome doll book, and I will come back to it again and again and again. So this is going to be, this is going to open up, and it's going to go on the front page of that book. And I spent all day with the ladies embellishing this, and I have a picture, and I'm going to attempt to glue stuff onto the ladies. I went on, I think Vogue and Vanity Fair and looked for black and white photos. So this is what I plan to do. And I've never been so organized. I actually have all these pieces out. I took a picture because there's no way in hell I would remember where these pieces went. I'm sorry I cursed, but that's who I am. And I you don't know how hard it is for me not to curse. Anyway, so this is going to go here, and I'm going to try to read chat as I babble on. Well, yeah. And I have I bought the Brooks slow stitch and go kit, and I bought extra, stuff. And so I am going through all of those bits and pieces. So there's bits of laces, because believe me, there's no way I would have lace in my whatever, because I'm just not, I'm not a lacy type of person. I've got nothing against lace, but that's just not who I am. So I spent a lot of time cutting out all these little bits and pieces, and I found this little, and then what you do after I glue all of these on, I'm going to kind of cut around their heads to kind of define them a little bit more. And I think now as I'm doing this, I'm reading the chat, and thank you for being here so much. And I think this is going to be as exciting as watching, the proverbial paint dry or the glue dry. But I'll try to entertain you with my New York wit and sarcasm that I think Roy and I share, and that's why there is an affinity between the two of us. There's something about being a New Yorker, and Roy is from Lynbrook, and I grew up in Wantor. And so we have a geographic connection. Actually, my older brother lived in Lynbrook for a while. And that's sticking. And then you're going to cut around, you're going to cut all of this stuff out. And let's see, it's a good thing I took pictures. Even with pictures, it's hard to follow. I'm hoping everybody's doing well. It's we are in we're getting ready for, yes, I love Barb et al. That is such, every time I see that Barb, I think of every single friggin' research paper I ever wrote when there was more than one author. It's just a and you kind of do this, and but in Florida now is going to be having, and we've been very, very fortunate, but there is a tropical storm that is brewing, and this is kind of creepy for me. And I don't want anybody to, feel down or anything, but the tropical storm that is brewing is named Fred, because now you have to name, you can't be just women, it's Fred. And my older brother Fred passed away in November, and his memorial service is next weekend. And so maybe this is Fred's last statement, a tropical storm. And so I'm driving down to Delray Beach for his memorial service. And the tropical storm will be gone by then. But I thought it was kind of interesting that, I mean, Fred, and I printed out some digitals. I hope I'm not, there's something that goes down here, but oh, I see. Even with the picture, I screwed up. Does that surprise you? It doesn't surprise. This is supposed to go here. I'm sorry, folks. I'm not that you really, you would not know unless I told you, but that's the kind of, all right. How are we doing? I'm going to read some chat. Yes, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the same thing, Rachel. I'm thinking Fred wants to go out with a bang, and, he was kind of a low-key kind of guy, but I haven't talked to my sister-in-law about it, but because I had the wrong date. I literally had the wrong day for the memorial. And thank God I said something in a message to her saying, oh, yeah, I'll see you Saturday. And she frantically messaged me back. She says, no, it's Saturday, it's Friday. So that would be just like me, right? To show up on Saturday for a memorial service that didn't take place. My brother was he was a good guy, but he had what the man went through is amazing, but it's all good for everybody. I am screwing up. I'm trying to. Hi, Mary Lou. We missed you because Mary Lou is one of our regulars in our chat rooms. I'm telling you, when we are in these, this crafting chat, we are crafting. And the nice thing about these rooms are as we are crafting, and we can talk to other people. And, a lot of times when I'm crafting, I am talking to myself. And, it's kind of gets boring talking to yourself. But, in this crafting chat, you're talking to other people. And if you get stuck, right, and you say, gee, what do you think of this? You get probably you get opinions that you are asking for. So, but this has been a lot of fun, and you can just, and if you go to, and I to be honest with you, I went to YouTube at 5:30, and I went to set up the channel and download the addresses for Time for Art. And Mary, I couldn't find them. And I was all over the place because I wanted to post them. And I was setting up my page because I didn't want to screw up like I did the last time. And I finally found them, and I copied them and stuck them in the description. And they changed the whole format. Oh, thank you, Rachel. I appreciate that. They changed the whole format in YouTube. I was looking for stuff, and it's different because now, granted, I haven't been on since last month, so obviously they changed stuff, and they don't have to inform Ann Lahr about their changes. But I went on, and now they have a whole new format where they have this little. I hate those little bars, and it's like setup and confirmation, and then something else. And so I was trying to figure out what the heck. It's so hard for me to say heck, folks, but what the heck was going on, because I hadn't been there in a month. But I finally figured out, I finally got, and then this is interesting. Early, I know I'm digressing, but earlier today, we had this discussion about the importance of having a mod. And I've got Arlene and I have Becky, and that's it. And they are just wonderful. And I was kind of saying, no, I mean, in this environment, who's gonna come out and get me? You know what I mean? Who's the boogeyman in terms of, doing evil things to me? I feel pretty safe where I live. And I set my whole thing up. Honest to God, I set it all up, and I just left it with, so I could just hit the button, go live. I had everything set up, right? And all I had to do was hit go live. And I'm watching Beth and watching, oh my gosh, a dollar-rom going on over at Beth's. And all of a sudden, I haven't gone live yet, folks. And all of a sudden, there is someone that has posted a comment in my chat. And Arlene, they were using the same icon that you had. And it was Arlene and some other obscene phrase. And I'm going, OMG, this is what they were talking about. And I don't know how that person popped into a YouTube that hadn't gone live yet. And of course, I went in there and I immediately deleted them. I'm going, this is what Meri was telling me about. And I was like, as the Irish would say, I was gobsmacked. I didn't expect it. It was like so freaking weird, but that's what happened. And so, Meri, I apologize to you. And again, I thank Arlene and Becky and everybody else that, has agreed to be a moderator for me. I'm thinking, but that is weird, right? I hadn't gone live yet. And all of a sudden, and I zapped them. I got rid of them, but I just thought that was interesting. I found some little poils that I had, and that was later this afternoon. And you're sitting there, and you got how we all gather all of that stuff, or as the Irish would say, all of that shite. And I found this little poils. And so I glued those down, and I'm just reading the chat. I came out of the zone. Binge watching 30s. Right. I can't believe you said that, because I was going to. Do you mind if well, it doesn't matter. It's my channel. Roy. Look at this. Look at this. Dun, 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 dun. No, I didn't. That was Arlene. That wasn't you. I don't think so. But look at this, Roy. How awesome is this? Look at this. Life. Did you know 200 years of Frankenstein? But you were and I was talking about the original, Frankenstein movie, and then the Bride of Frankenstein, when, he finally creates the bride, played by Elsa Lancaster, and she's got the hair, right, with the white streak. And he takes one look at her and screams, and that's the end of it. And of course, you think I could find it? Of course. Have you ever looked for things in a magazine and you can never? But that's a scene. That's the love scene between Boris and. But there she was, and she takes one look at him and just screams. And of course, the best, all-time best is. And I'm sure this is the one. This is the one. If you want to laugh, and literally, you better wear a diaper if you're older, because you're going to pee your pants when you see that one. But the 1930, the Elsa Lancaster with the white streak. And I was boring the ladies, as I have a tendency to do. I was boring them. I'm sorry, rabbit trail. But I was boring them about the whole story behind Mary Shelley in writing Frankenstein. That was written on a bet. That was a bet. Mary Shelley and her husband and a couple of other literary people, they were vacationing on a lake up in Switzerland, and they were sitting around a fire, and they had a bet who could write a horror story, right? And that was it. And they kind of went back to their rooms, and Mary Shelley, 21 years old, writes Frankenstein. She's friggin' 21 years old and writes Frankenstein. And we were talking about, hardly any of the movies, excuse me, actually really, really follow the actual story, because the actual story is a lot different than Hollywood's version. And maybe some of you know the actual story, but the monster was brilliant. He was fluent in several languages. He wasn't as in Young Frankenstein, Abby Normal, which Marty Feldman. I'm sorry, that's just classic. Mel Brooks is just a crazy man. But anyway, but the original book has Frankenstein. I'm sorry. Arlene, I didn't know that was you. I am so sorry I blocked you. That is so weird. Okay, I apologize. I'm sorry. I see what you're saying. That is my other account. Okay, all right. And you popped in. I'm curious as to I hadn't even gone live. I don't even know how you got in there. But Arlene is stealth. She's stealth. Scared me the most as a child. And then you had Abbott and Costello. Yeah. Yes. Did I just pass the other hump? That was Artie Feldman, right? The hump kept on moving, right? He would say, "Walk this way," and they would stumble down. And then Cloris Leachman, and every time they said her name, Frau Bucher, the horses would neigh. I'm telling you, Mel Brooks is a friggin' genius. Yes, and Marlene Dietrich. Oh my God, I'm so tired. Yes, I'm sorry. I have to really go and watch that again, because if you have not seen Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein, you got to find it, and whatever it costs, you got to watch it, because I'm thinking now, currently, we all need a friggin' good laugh, and you're going to be laughing. You gotta see it, because it's, and I'm going to make when I build this whole book, this is just the beginnings of this doll thing. I plan to have a Frankenstein, a monster page, and all sorts of fun things. A lot of times I do these things, and I don't think of them as a continuing type of a journal. And Beth was showing you that she adds to it all the time, and I've never done that before, so this is a new experience for me. But I plan to use Lori Jenkins altered book stuff, and it's really hard to find books that are stitched, that are sewn. And I found one that I bought a while ago, and I started ripping it apart. So we're getting there, and I've got all sorts of bits and pieces. And believe me, I mean, this is not very exciting, but it took me forever to cut out these bits and pieces. And you've been in the zone a lot. Meri has worked so hard. Just say Dodie to Meri, and she's probably going to cringe. Just kidding, Meri. But Meri has given Dodie dolls a new meaning to most of us. She is the Dodie queen. Okay, Cheryl. Yeah. And I have found Reader Digest, the condensed stuff, but the ones I have found, unfortunately, have not been stitched. And the book that I'm using is a book that is a companion reader to a British sitcom series called Coronation Street. And that's the one that I am cutting up and using for my doll thing. And I'm going to show you some of the other weird kind of freaky dolls that I have made while we're probably close to the end. This is going to be the book, and it's called The Rover's Return. But it's a beautiful book. It's just about the right size. And this is where these dolls are going to go. And I have trouble, personally, I'm sharing my inner soul. But I have trouble putting these background pages together. And I watched this woman who said, hey, you do this, do that. And I did it. And I'm kind of happy with this. But anyway. And I've started to gesso. But these are some, I've made these a while ago. And yeah, they're kind of a little weird. But I like kind of weird, These are some of my kind of different they're paper dolls, and I like out of proportion, because aren't we all out of proportion in some shape or form? So, and this is a person that I made a while ago, and I want you to note I actually made them. These are actual real live flip-flops. See my little flippy flops? Yep. And unfortunately, I didn't mean for this whatever asexual person to have one ear, but I was feeling down, and I was just scribbling, and the hand comes out of the pocket. And this is kind of my, if you look at my wardrobe, it's sage and gray. And if I stood up and you could see me, that's exactly what I'm wearing. And then I made this little orange. But this is kind of the fun stuff, right? You just kind of do, whatever. And I kind of like doing the eyes and then having them, look askance. Is that askance? I'm not happy with this particular background page. But you know what? That's why there's gesso. And I also worked on another doll, and we had a great discussion about this doll. And this doll has no pants. And I was holding him up to the light, and Debbie and Meri said, well, you can see through his pants. And I said, okay, because he doesn't have any stuffing, but I don't even know whether it's a he or not. I just started stitching him. So I've got I'm trying to be a doll maker. So, oh, it's time for Becky. Yay. Oh my gosh. Oh, you are going to love Becky. And that's all I can say. And Beth, oh my gosh. Beth, I've never seen so many dolls in my life. Honestly, I am not exaggerating. I've never seen so many dolls in my life. It was just amazing. So, can I say goodbye? Goodbye. Is that okay, Mary? Can I say so long? Is it time? I'm looking at it. Or is it too early? I don't want to. I mean, I can BS with the best of them. I'm a worker. If you want me to. Is it okay, Mary? I'm looking for Mary. Mary is our fearless leader. Everyone's saying thank you. Thumbs up would be great. I mean, who's going to say no? Or thumbs down, apparently. It makes no difference. And if you haven't subscribed to my awesome channel, feel free to go ahead and do that. Beth's saying go to Becky's. And can someone post the link for Becky's? Because I know how to do that. But Beth is saying go to Becky's. And again, Arlene, thank you so much. You are the best. Oh, good. Time for Becky. I'm sure we're all ready for Becky. Okay, I'm going to say goodnight, and I'm sure you can find your way over to Becky. And it's going to be great. You are going to be awed. Good night, folks, and thank you so much for putting up with me.